Hi, I'm Jim.
And I'm David.
And this is the Practical Guitarist Podcast.
The podcast for people who eat, sleep, and breathe guitar. The Practical Guitarist Podcast is brought to you by Great Lakes Guitar Pickups. Great Lakes Guitar Pickups provides fantasy tones at prices a practical guitarist will love. Featuring top-notch construction, attention to detail, and a fully custom product, if you can dream it, Great Lakes Guitar Pickups can probably build it. Follow them on Facebook at facebook.com/Great Lakes Guitar Pickups. Are you a regular listener? Why not? David here reminding you of all the ways you can participate in the Practical Guitarist Podcast. Subscribe using your chosen podcast app. Review us on iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, or Google Play. Find our Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/practicalguitarist or on Twitter as @practguitarist. Support the show. Merchandise is available in our Threadless store at practicalguitaristpodcast.threadless.com. And donate to us via Patreon, available at patreon.com/practicalguitarist. Reach out to us directly via email at questions@practicalguitarist.com.
Hey, David.
I think he was waiting for the middle finger this time.
I was waiting for it. You didn't do it.
No,
and so I laughed.
Focused on actually hitting the record button. All right. Let's all stop now for a minute. And I want to talk about something really serious, and it's a legitimate problem, and it plagues a lot of Americans every year. It's bothered me the last couple of months. Tonight, I want to take a moment to discuss groin strain.
I'm sorry. I just can't not laugh. It's not funny. It's not funny.
About a week ago, 2 weeks ago, I started having strange pains in my leg, in my calf, and in my I guess it was my thigh, the bottom of my thigh. And then this escalated over the next couple of days, and I couldn't sit in the recliner. And by that Sunday, of course, I'd gone to the urgent care, and I believe I've discussed this on the show already. And I was told, no, it's not a blood clot. There's nothing wrong with you. Well, after 10 days of resting my leg, taking lots and lots of over-the-counter painkillers, and basically getting no relief, I made an appointment with my primary care physician. And I went in, and he looked at my leg and twisted it and turned it and beat on it and pushed real hard and bruised it and then hyperextended it. And he straightened my leg out, and it actually hyperextended it. I pulled a muscle in the back of my leg when he did it. It was determined. And by the way, not in the actual session. He didn't actually tell me what was wrong. His exact words were to me, "You're not going to die. You'll be fine." And that was and here's your blood work. Go downstairs and get it.
Wow.
So, I get, we have a thing called MyChart through the hospital I'm at, and you can log in and you can see your medical records. And I go and look at my visit summary, and that's where I see acute groin strain. So I'm like, oh, all right. Well, that's what's wrong with me. And,
well, at least they said it was cute.
I haven't followed up, but basically what I think is going on, the groin muscle runs obviously across your nether region over to the side of your leg on the outside, all the way down to your knee. And I think there's actually some connective tissue that runs into your ankle and stuff too. But I think what was happening was it was pinching a nerve in my leg, which was causing pains all over my leg. Over the last couple of days, it appears to be getting better. I'm not really having any leg pain. I've been able to play guitar again, which is freaking-tastic. I got to be completely honest. I didn't play for almost 2 weeks. And so everything's great. In fact, I was having some other arthritic pains, which I think were related to the nerve situation. And I was complaining about, I need a thicker strap or something. It's all bullshit. I don't need any of that. I can play my heavy-ass guitars. I'm fine for now. It's not arthritic.
So I played my SG yesterday for the first time in a couple weeks. And I got to tell you something. I never noticed how light that thing is. It weighs nothing. Because I usually play the PRSs. The SG is over there. You can't see it. It's right off screen. But I was like,
I mean, Jim, what can you get that's actually lighter than an SG?
I don't know. A Steinberger, the old Steinbergers that have no body.
Steinbergers were quite light. I had a Steinberger that was 8 pounds though.
I played a Steinberger, yeah. So I played a Steinberger bass. A friend of mine had one. I never owned it. He had the expensive one too, the nice one. And
okay, so I had the Spirit, the cheapy import from Musicio. It was like 8.5 pounds. It was mahogany. It was solid mahogany. The neck was like a baseball bat on it, which is part of the reason why I no longer own it. Right. Actually, I really liked the guitar. I think it would have been really cool if I'd been able to put proper pickups in it, because the thing sounded decent. Yeah, the only gripe was the fucking neck was like a baseball bat. I mean, it was just ridiculous.
You can get better necks for those things.
Oh, no, it's not bolt-on.
Yeah.
Yeah, bolt-on? No, it's neck through.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, I thought they were neck through. Anyway, so the one I played, that's what I mean. You can buy better. I shouldn't say a better neck, like you can replace the neck. I mean, you can buy better models that have better.
Right. And I just, by the time I got one, Musicio was no longer making them.
Yeah. Remember when, so Rush was using them there for a while?
90s? Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Late 90s, early 2000s, somewhere in there.
And
then, it was mid to late 90s.
And then people started putting EMGs and everything and realized you could put EMGs in a turd and it'll sound decent. So,
yep. And that was the thing, that was just, so, you'd see Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson playing them, and I was like, oh. So I tried one out. I played it even as recently as maybe 10 years ago.
Yeah.
7 years ago. And I don't know. Now it's more than 7 years. No, it's not important. I could not get used to not having a headstock. There's something about the headstock that, for me, maybe it's the corner of my eye. I don't really have good peripheral vision, but that I can't. I was always off a fret.
I've heard people complaining about not so much that, but the fact that they actually use like because there's patterns on the neck that occur around the headstock, and on those style guitars they don't exist, so you don't feel them. And right. but I had zero issues with having a headless guitar. Like by zero, I mean honestly, the sustain was better. Like there was a lot of things I really liked about it. It was ergonomic.
Yep.
Your guitar would literally not fall over. It was great.
Definitely. And I love the little. It had like a kickstand.
Oh yeah. The leg stand. That's how I started playing in classical position.
When we were talking about Junior Brown, that guy's guitar, that Git Steel, is surprisingly small.
Yeah.
One thing you don't see in the videos when you see him is the fact that he's standing on a podium.
Yeah.
So there was a video when him and his wife are singing together, and they're doing a duet. They're singing side by side. His head, same height as hers. I'm like, as tall as she is, there's no way. And then I look, and his waist is like up here on her. It's just
but what Jim's not telling you is that he has an affinity for people like Little Ozzy and Junior Brown, and who's the guy from Game of Thrones? Because Jim feels.
Did I feel tall in that?
No, Jim. No. I believe me. I have more credibility than that. Your self-esteem is not that low, but you do feel a kinship with these people.
I do,
and I get that. Like I totally get that from you, Jim. You're like, man. You're like, I know what it feels like to be short, and it sucks.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Being short does suck. I'll be honest with you.
It does.
I am average height, basically like 5'8", but I feel short.
Yeah, but I'm a full over an inch shorter than you are. I'm 5'6.5". So
yeah,
may as well say 5'6".
I'm gonna do something. This is a personal thing, and I want to bring it up on the show. After we're done recording the show and I post the episode, I'm going to post a picture of my driver's license, my temporary driver's license I just got from the state of Illinois, and I want people to caption the picture. I want people to caption the picture, and I'm actually going to post it on Instagram. We have an Instagram account now, so it's Practical Guitarist Podcast Instagram, and I believe that it's Practical Guitarist on Instagram. So look us up, look for that. It will be worth the price of admission. Trust me.
Yeah. I should probably do a similar thing. So those of you who aren't aware, I'm relatively short and I'm overweight. I'm 50-something years old, and I've let myself go to pot over the last 3 years.
Overweight my ass.
I am.
Compared to me, no.
Well, I'm not as young as you are. The heart's not really functioning as well as it should. But anyway, those who don't know, yeah, I'll caption that bad boy.
Oh my God.
So, this is our 100th episode, folks.
Yes,
so
it's our 100th episode celebration.
We are getting to guitars. But anyway, so because of that, I'm on a diet. I'm on my last. This is number 5.
I heard that before. Remember Year of No Gear? That was a hell of a diet, Jim.
Yeah, I know, but gear is a lot more important. But my son, he's dragging me to the gym, so we're going to Planet Fatness, and I'm over there looking at people that are my age and going, "Yep, there's no excuse, fatty." And
as he eats a sandwich.
Yeah, I can call myself fat. Yeah, as I walk in there with a sandwich in my mouth, stuff rolling down, crumbs on my bag of Doritos in my
He's
pocket.
like, I better brush these crumbs off before I weigh in.
Yeah. Well, so Planet Fitness is no judgment, type thing.
No, I judge myself all the time.
Yeah, I judge myself all the time. I'm a fat ass. So I got to get in there, and I'm looking to lose about 80 pounds. So we'll see. My objective will be to lose by the time I see you guys in Sweetwater in June of next year. I hope to have lost about 50 pounds, which for me will look good. It won't look great. It'll put me at about 150.
Yeah, I'm planning on losing a similar amount, to be honest with you. So maybe we'll race and we'll see how thin we are when we get there.
Yeah. So we'll have to do a weigh-in. I gotta get the scale.
You're gonna totally fucking destroy me because I have health problems out the ass to get me there. But
yeah, you have Crohn's and I have laziness problems.
Maybe I can get my Crohn's to act up, and then I'll just drop all the weight like right before I go.
I want to do a PSA about laziness. Get off your fat ass and get out there and do stuff, Jim. You son of a bitch.
Jim is guilty of sloth.
Yeah, I'm guilty of being a sloth. There's no question about it. I'm like, I could go to the gym or play Final Fantasy. 2 hours later, I'm still trying to earn tomes. So, all right. So let's get to guitars. We posted this week. We were both laughing our asses off this video that Stevie T did. And if you haven't seen it, I still recommend it. And I'm going to get to why it's weird for me to recommend it. But he's reacting to the worst guitar shredder ever. The guy's name is Richard Benson. And Stevie T does this song where he goes, Richard Benson, Richard Benson, Richard Benson. And if
you don't like Stevie T's mannerisms, like we totally understand. Like not everybody's into the same comedians. We get it.
Yeah, he's a 30-something-year-old guy who still lives at home, and
honestly, he's been very open about the fact that he's kind of nerdy, and he's not kind of nerdy; he's really nerdy. But he's open to that, and he's using that as a tool to do things.
Yeah, he's the kind of guy you'd expect to see at a cosplay convention.
Right.
But he's an incredible shredder. He's a Kiesel guy, by the way.
Yeah, he's a fucking amazing guitar player. That'll be our segue.
Yeah. So there's my segue. So this Richard Benson guy that he kind of tears up. It's obvious that Richard Benson is in on the joke and on his own joke, kind of like Andy Kaufman. I think you recommended it.
Yeah, if you haven't, so we talked about this in the group. I think some people were like, "Why would he be making fun of this guy? That's kind of mean." Look, I'm willing to bet if he didn't reach out to Richard Benson, he's heard from other people that Richard Benson's act is to do exactly what he does.
Yeah, because Richard Benson has, there's an instructional video from Richard Benson. By the way, Richard Benson is from Italy.
Yes.
He's Italian. So
so he's probably a Riccardo Bensoni, or something.
He has some stuff. He literally puts on black lipstick, these weird glasses, and this obvious wig. And if it's not a wig, good Lord, he's got to be dyeing that thing. Because you can see by the video was probably made in the 80s. And he does this instructional video. So he's been doing this shtick for a long time. And the shtick is, here's weird stuff to do on the guitar, real fast. But as Dave and I were both talking about before the show started, he can't be that bad without being good.
No, there is clearly premeditation in what he's doing. And if you hear him play, like he's got his shtick down pat, but you can hear these fragments of like a really shitty guitarist wouldn't do that. You know what I mean? Like it's that kind of thing.
And there's stuff in there that a crappy guitar player, even trying to make fun of a shredder, wouldn't be able to do. They just would not be able to.
Right.
Some of the he'll do the harmonics thing like really fast.
Or even when he does the over under like thing like Badio or Badio, like that just totally gets me because I'm like, look, you're not going to find a shitty guitar player that can do it that well.
Exactly.
You're just not.
That over under thing, that takes a lot of practice, a lot of time, a lot of patience. There's no way he's that bad. He's in on his own joke. There's a video, or I mean a clip from a video in there where he played live and somebody threw.
Somebody threw. It looked like gelato to me on him from the audience, and it was not the first thing that was thrown at him from the audience. By the way, I think another thing was like a milk carton, but he got like gelato all over him, and then all of a sudden this roadie runs up and wipes it off and like cleans him up real good, and it was like there was nothing on him,
right?
Almost like it was prepared.
Yeah. Like that was part of the shtick. So the reason that I say that, it's weird for me to say, hey, this is still funny is because of two things. One, many of you know the reason I haven't posted a lot of videos is because frankly, I'm very self-conscious. I am my worst critic, and I don't really go for someone, saying, hey, you made a mistake right there, or you did this wrong, you did that wrong. Everybody makes mistakes, even the pros. And that's another video that Stevie T did. He did one where he tore up, of all people, Slash.
Yeah. Oh, and so that's the thing, though. Nobody complained when he was going after Slash, Madonna. I think he's done Lenny Kravitz. I know he's done. But the thing is, like, I think all of those people have to have a sense of humor about themselves. If you think Madonna rubbing her ass against a guitar and pinching it between her ass and an amplifier to make noise out of it isn't having a laugh about that after the show,
exactly.
It's not whether you think about it. If she isn't, she's a really fucked up individual because the whole thing is like she's having fun. That's what that is. If that's just work to her, then I'm sorry. Like we probably need to reevaluate who we're buying records from. You know what I mean? But the Slash thing,
nobody's buying Madonna's records anymore. Not the news.
The Slash thing, his guitar was detuned. Like his G string was done. And the funny thing is that Stevie T is such a good guitar player. He'll listen to this and be like, I know exactly what happened here. And I'm going to replicate it. And I'll show you exactly what happened. And then he plays the fucked up wrong solo note for note. In the case of Madonna, he looked at her hand and where it was at on the guitar and constructed a solo that you couldn't hear out of what she was doing. And I mean, my jaw drops when I see stuff like that. It's not necessarily about the artist that he's kind of like poking fun at. It's way more about the fact that Stevie T can deconstruct that stuff and actually do that.
Exactly.
That's more fun to me than seeing him insult me. And again, these people have to have a sense of humor about themselves. I guarantee you somebody like Johnny Depp watched him pick apart his slide play.
Oh, yeah, Johnny Depp was
racked up. I mean, these people have this shit happen all the time. This is much better than tabloid bullshit.
Yeah.
Where it's completely false, makes them look terrible, ad infinitum to all the possibilities there. But
exactly. And, we're living in a world, this is the thing that people might be forgetting, is that we're living in a world now, obviously, full of cell phones and instantaneous sharing of things that happen. Do you think Slash's terrible thing would have gotten on video worldwide if it hadn't been for the fact that somebody was there with a cell phone?
Well, no, because that was recorded by MTV. That was at their honoring Ozzy celebration thing. But if you watch that, did you see the reaction of Ozzy Osbourne in the audience when that solo started?
Yeah.
He literally looked over at Sharon, and then of course Stevie T tries to decode what Ozzy said to Sharon, and he had a couple of different variations. But I swear to you, if you look at what he says, he clearly looks at Sharon and says, "Wow, that blows."
Yeah, and there is a reason. Yeah, and there's a reason that you don't have typically live recordings of these events. It's because stuff can go wrong. A guitar can be handed to you out of tune. You get that's fine in a concert.
They use your Illusion DVD. Since we're talking about Slash, they use your Illusion DVDs. There's I believe it's the Tobacco Burst that he uses in a couple songs. That thing is out of tune the entire fucking performance. and he gets it like 2 or 3 different songs. And I mean, I was not a really super well versed guitar player, but I heard it and I was like, there's something wrong with that guitar. It's like clearly he should not be playing that. But of course, in those days, Slash was fairly inebriated, and I guarantee you he had no idea what was going on.
Yeah, exactly. He wasn't as sober as he is now. And again, well, that one got caught on television. The one with Nick Jonas, who obviously isn't known as a great guitar player, but still, that was embarrassing. And you can see the look on his face when he's trying to bend that note into tune, and he's like, I can't even get it there. It's just, I'd give up. And then he just gets out of the solo fast. I mean,
no, but there again, there's a guy, Nick Jonas. Nobody's going to sit there and get mad at Stevie T for making fun of Nick Jonas.
Right.
Maybe he has a very small amount of people. I mean, he's got 1 million followers on YouTube.
Yeah, he's obviously funny.
Somebody obviously likes what he's doing. But I will say this much. Stevie T, come on, dude. Let's get back to the old videos. I want to see you do more translation stuff. I want to see you do.
I want to see him do more
things
stuff
that made popular.
Where he dresses as the entire band, and
that's great stuff.
And his sister, he dresses as his own sister.
What this boils down to is right now he's probably making money off monetization. That's probably how he's supporting himself. And he's got 1 million followers. That's enough. He could probably, get a decent living off of monetization. So he's looking at this and he's going, YouTube wants me, in order to monetize, I have to have a video per week. And so the fastest way to do this is to make some shit posts.
Monetization is higher than one now.
Yeah.
And that was his complaint. He was doing some where he was recording in the car. He's trying to shotgun it right now to figure out, okay, how do I
stay relevant at this point?
Give the number, because it's not his fans that are giving them. It's YouTube that says, hey, we're not getting enough content from you.
Yeah, it's a sad situation because
if you don't put out more videos.
It's a sad situation for him because I really do like what Stevie T does. I'd love for him to come on the show. I think he's way too big for our show at this point. Although I wouldn't hesitate to reach out to him. But my issue with Stevie T's situation is he has decided, okay, I'm going to do these videos that are kind of poking fun at people. And I'm not going to make it clear that this is all in good fun. Like, it should be obvious, but there are people out there that are like, this is how Stevie T really is. The guy that kicks water bottles in every video he does. I don't know. I don't know how you can take him seriously when he says this stuff. But
he's a 30-year-old in an 18-year-old body. I mean, the guy is 30 years old and looks like he's 18, and he acts like he's 18.
I just don't understand how people can take him seriously.
I don't.
That's why, like, when I see these videos, he's making fun of somebody, but is he really making fun of him? I mean, look at him.
No. Of course he's not, because he's got his own issues, and he's done his own videos where he takes fun that's made of him.
The funniest thing is, like, so he's friends with like Jared Dines. He knows the guy from Spectre SMG. I met him too, and his name escapes me at the moment. Glenn Fricker. He's also of course knows Henning Paul, all those guys too. And they're all buying guitars from Chapman right now. Like, Chapman sponsoring them because Chapman had his big YouTube, moment in the sun.
Yep.
And I'm kind of laughing because Stevie T's the only one not endorsed by Chapman.
No, Kiesel.
No, he's a Kiesel guy through and through. And I was watching, we'll get into this in a minute. I was watching Jeff Kiesel do like his NAMM thing from 2018. I guess it was January. And he has a poster of Stevie T in the background, and he's like, look at this guy. And he just starts like chuckling and laughing. And like, he's like, he plays guitars. And he's like, if you think for a second that his thing is like being a comedian, watch him actually play. And you know what? Yeah. Jeff Kiesel is actually right for a change.
Well, he used to do, Stevie T used to do a lot of like, here's how to play this, here's how to play that. But they weren't, it's an unfortunate fact. So there's a couple things that are wrong with the YouTube community as far as, not the people, but the monetization side of it is that, okay, so YouTube is a giant television channel, right?
Yeah.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week, a bazillion channels.
On-demand television.
On demand. So what you have is you want to have eyeballs, and advertising time, right?
Right.
So there's two things that you want to have. It's no F words, right?
Right.
And no nothing that's going to make people, look away. And then you want to have a lot of view, because if you don't get a lot of stuff, so it's the same thing. Going wrong And the reason for this monetization problem that's going wrong with YouTube is the same thing that went wrong with television. Television was at one time an open thing. When I grew up, people my age and even a little younger in their 40s would remember public access television.
Yeah.
And
We
the
still have public
ridiculous
access here in the
shows-
city, but I mean, nobody watches it.
Right, but the ridiculous shows that would come on public access.
Oh, yeah.
That's what Wayne's World was based on, guys.
Yeah, because if you don't understand, Wayne's World was like a thing, that not a real thing, but
Right.
there were people broadcasting out of their basements
Right.
or
This YouTube thing is not new. And this thing of us sitting here doing podcasts, this is not new. There were people who had radio stations running out of their homes.
pirate radio stations.
There were
Yeah,
pirate radio stations that were getting out there and they were finding frequencies that weren't being used and they were going out there because the FCC
they
would
tried
try.
the FCC come out and bust them,
But this thing,
find them or arrest them.
this is real. And just because it was a smaller thing doesn't mean that it didn't exist. But they weren't getting advertising. And they weren't, the lucky folks got a show, a real show.
Yeah.
But if you look, the guys that have come
Tom
from
Green was an example.
real television, yeah. The guys on YouTube that have gotten real television shows, like the was it the Angry Orange or something?
Yeah,
Those things.
the
they
one
don't
girl got a
need-
Netflix show. I mean, there's a couple of people that have actually gotten like legitimate shows out of it, and most of them didn't go anywhere.
Right, they don't translate well, and everything's trying to find this way of making this money. And the problem is, if you're Stevie T or you're Jared Dines or whoever you are, and you need to, and we've talked about other channels, you and I on the side, who do shock stuff to say, look at my channel, look at me,
Yeah.
I'm going to snort some ants or whatever. I mean, it's like
okay, Ozzy.
there are people who have YouTube channels where they let insects and animals bite them.
Believe it or not,
Why did you
Jim and
make
I have a line we will not cross.
And that's one of them.
Yeah, we actually the line we will not cross is pretty significant. Jim and I have actually I found in the last couple of episodes I have edited more frequently than I ever have had to. And it's because some of the subject matter we've discussed with guests and other people has been it's not that it's necessarily something that I wouldn't have the conversation with somebody I knew, but it's one of those things where people would get the wrong impression if they heard some of the things that were said. So
Right.
I'm just being
Out of
careful.
context.
Yes.
Right. Taking it out of context, it wouldn't make any sense. And it wouldn't be, So anyway, being that this is our 100th episode, that's Stevie T thing. Again, I'm very self-conscious and I really don't want people, but I'm an admin in the group and I can just shut the stuff off. But I watch, what's his name? The guy that does, now his name is out of my head. I don't know why. But anyway, this guy, if he sees somebody he even thinks is trolling him during his live stuff, it blocked.
Yeah.
Blocks him. And I'm like,
Yeah. I mean,
you didn't even give the person a chance to explain that maybe not, because
we-
I hear some of that stuff and I
we've
go,
never pushed the button like that, but we've had some situations in the group where,
we had to
we
block people.
had people that come in and we're like, I don't know about this because I've had interaction with this person somewhere else.
Yeah, but we had that guy that was all America and talking about, and
That
we-
guy we banned instantly because we were
We
like,
banned him automatically.
that's done. I banned somebody this week, somebody who's just shit posting videos of them self-promoting and not interacting in the group. But
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, we don't mind if you're one of those what they call stalkers, where you
yeah, you can lurk all day long. But
is
please
it lurkers? I
interact
don't-
before you push your junk on everybody.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
if
one
you're gonna
thing
sell
to
drugs. At least introduce yourself first.
yeah, it's okay. Like we're cool with people pushing their stuff, but at least interact with other things too. Like if you're going to say, "Hey, check out my new album," then maybe
Yeah.
talk to people about stuff that's musical.
And I'll be honest with you, I've had a couple people send me Facebook messages, and I'm a nice guy. Like I'm not gonna say this to somebody, but this did occur to me. This is the kind of shit that goes on inside my head. Somebody sent me, we should talk about this week, and I was like, you should join the Patreon, so then I feel more inclined to talk about this week.
Yeah.
We
Well,
might get to it if there's time.
So okay, so as we had promised ourselves and have said before, at our 100th episode, we were going back to one a week. So as of next week, we're going to be
Yep.
doing one episode.
One on Monday or Tuesday.
So
And,
we'll see our numbers cut in half.
Yeah, it's going to suck, but at the same time, we still know it's the same amount of people that are listening to us, and this is going to give me the ability to spend a night going around guitar shopping or whatever to build Instagram content, to build YouTube videos. I got too many pedals to demo right now.
Yeah. And
I
so
really-
David,
Okay, I don't want to be the pedal demo guy. I'm going to be honest with everybody right now. Let's just get this out in the open. I'm
Yes,
going
he
to
does.
demo these fuzz pedals.
yes, he does.
I'm probably still going to do fuzz pedals specifically, but I'm not the guy that wants to demo gear. We have way too many fucking people on YouTube doing that right now. And maybe I bring a different
That's not
slant to it, but come on, do we really need me?
No. Robert Jackson. That's the
Robert
guy.
Jackson is the guy right now that I think should be demonstrating both guitars and pedals.
Except for fuzz pedals.
Just because Robert's got it
Those
down
are
to a
yours.
science at this point. He's gotten really good at it.
Yeah. He's the kind of guy, he's got all the stuff, he's got all the,
Ryan can do the pedals till he's blue in the face, but Robert Jackson can do everything else.
that's right.
Now Ryan's gonna kill me because I said that, but I to his credit, Ryan's got some really good content lately. He shot out the katana in the next tone, which
I
was
haven't watched that
pretty
yet.
enlightening. Yeah, you just
Wasn't
take a
that
look at it.
wasn't that the katana or the next tone 80?
No, it was the 40 or 60. It was the smaller one.
Oh, it is the 40.
Yeah, it's the smaller versus the smaller katana. So
All right. What did you get from that? I haven't watched it yet. What did you get from it?
all right. So I'm not in the room. So take everything I'm about to say with a pinch of salt. I was not in the room for this, but I can absolutely say that it's not worth my money.
Nope. Okay. So I saw Anderton's thing with it. They did the next tone versus the katana as well.
Yeah, I didn't really feel like.
And I was like, nah.
I think Ryan's video did a really good job of close miking and getting a good close mic'd sound. I think Anderton's, what they do a really good job at is getting a lot of the in-room mic. If you compare those two videos, you'll get a pretty good idea of what the difference is going to be like in the room. And for my money, that's a big leap to go from like a $300 amp to a $600 amp.
Well, the Katana 50 right now is what?
No, it's like $250. I mean, the Katana 50 is way cheaper.
And
I'm just saying, like, I would do
don't
the
even
head
know if
again.
it's $250. Yeah, $229.
I mean, but the Katana head, the only reason I have is a backup amp. To be honest with you, I mean, I use it as a practice amp around the house, but I honestly probably would sell it if I had another amp. So, I don't know, man. The Katana, the next tone, the empty chair that's sitting across from me while I continue to ramble. Ramble on, sing my song. I don't know what the rest of the lyrics are, but anyway, yeah, no, for real though. What you're getting if you buy the Katana is you're getting a little bit more flexibility. You get effects, built-in effects, which don't sound horrendous. You get the EQ. I don't know if the next tone has the EQ on the inside. There's a possibility it does. I just didn't feel like, going from a 6L6 sound to a 6V6 sound or an EL84 or EL34 was really that significant of a compelling argument to buy that amp. And I also think, and everyone's going to shoot me, but they're the same platform. Anybody that's going around saying, oh, well, no, the next tone has all this different stuff in it, I want to see gut shots to prove that before I say anything. But, I mean, the outside of the chassis is basically identical, which reeks of it's all software inside. And if that's the case, then somebody at some point is going to figure out a way to make the Katana sound like the next tone, and using software upgrades in the background on that. So I don't know. I still stand by my original statement that like the next tone is it's too expensive. If it had come in at $400, the problem is they couldn't do that because they brought up that stupid Katana artist. And yes, it's stupid.
Yep.
It's stupid. Everybody listen to me. It's stupid. Class AB, and it's still a fucking solid state amp.
Yep.
Class AB, Class A, Class D. Look, Class D is solid state, right? You can't do it with tubes. That's my understanding. Class A is single-ended. Single-ended Class A is a different thing.
Right.
I watched this whole thing when they were talking about Class A, Class AB.
Right.
And I'll be honest with you, having played amps that are very similar or have the ability to switch between them, look, if you like the sound of the amp, you like the sound of the amp. And this whole idea that you're going to have a solid state amp that somehow emulates Class AB through solid state circuitry just sounds insane to me. And I played the Artist. It is not worth the extra investment of money. But what it did, what is the Artist now? I say it's $500, I think, or $600. So what it did was it said, well, if we introduce another amp, we have to price it at this. So the next tone, even though the feature set is probably more consistent with the $400 amp, is now going to be priced at $600. And honestly, I mean, at $600, you're looking at really good tube amps at that point.
Well, even all right. So the Artist, which is the 40-watt version, I think it's 40 watts. So the next tone is $499 for a 40-watt amp and $700 for an 80-watt. Now, of course, the sale pitch of it is this: you can get 6L6 and this thing and this thing. This was my thing. What my takeaway from it. So what Andertons did was they shot it out with similar real tube amps, all tube amps, with the same front ends. And honestly, the only one it came even close to was the Marshall. And even then, you could get a Marshall Origin for less than that.
Yeah, dude. That's why I'm like, they priced themselves out of the market on this. Nobody is going to buy a solid state amp for that amount of money when they could buy a tube amp. And for one reason only, if any reason other than this is the reason you need to consider. I can repair a tube amp. I can take a tube amp and have it repaired without replacing the board. And you're not going to do that with most solid state amps. And you're definitely not going to do it with one of these digital hybrids.
And what happens when that tube goes bad?
You replace the fucking tube.
I mean, well, are they what do you call it when you adjust the tube? Are they biased?
Well, I'm saying you take it into the shop to have it done. You can't
I'm
even
talking
take
about
this
these.
into the shop to have. No,
That's
these
what
don't have
I'm talking
tubes.
about. These.
They don't have tubes. There's nothing like that.
Right.
That's my point. This solid state. It's digital. This is useless as far as repairing.
It's still tube emulation. Oh, look at us. We're boss. We're better than everybody else.
Look, I have no doubt in my mind that Waza amp, the really high-end amp they put out, is probably fucking amazing.
Yep.
But what are we looking at here? Flip it around. And you walked away from the camera when I said this, but this is the same hardware platform until I see gut shots to prove me otherwise. That's in the Katana.
Yeah.
So I have no faith that this thing is anything more than a tweaked software update that they're not going to put out for the Katana.
For $140 less, you can get a Katana 100, and you have everything and more than you get with the next tone,
and 10 years of software experience from behind it, because the Katana is a Boss GT100.
Right.
It is nothing more than a Boss GT100.
Right.
People are saying, "Oh, well, it's got tweak models." Yeah, but it's just EQ tweaks.
Right.
That's all it was.
Yep.
And I can tell you what models are which channel on the amp. I mean, that's how the Crunch channel is a Bassman. The clean channel is a JC120. The lead channel is I think it's a 5150, and the brown channel is a Soldano. I mean, I can't say any more than that. Like, that people have hacked the software and they found this information out. So you can dig around, you'll find it. But I think we're done talking about this. Let's move on to the other segue. So we were talking about Stevie T earlier. Stevie T is endorsed by Carvin Kiesel. Kiesel, we've talked about Kiesel on the show before. I think Kiesel offers a really interesting value option for somebody who needs something that has very specific requirements. Let's say, Jim, I am going to play death metal from now on, but I'm going to play math death metal, which means that it's, some people call it gent or whatever you want to call it. Look, there's thousands of different genres of metal. It's not important. The thing is, I'm going to be genty. So I want, and this is what I need to do my craft. I need a fan fret 7 or 8 string guitar with an exotic wood top and, super deep cutaway at 24 frets, and insane metal pickups. Where am I going? Because I'm not going to go. I'm a bedroom player first, and I got to put this band together. I'm not going to Ormsby. I'm not going to any of the metal builders. I'm not going to. Well, I might buy a Solaris, but the point is, if I'm going to have very specific requirements like that, I'm going to go to Jeff Kiesel's Well, it's not his company. We'll get into that. I'm going to go to Jeff Kiesel, and I'm going to get a Kiesel guitar, and I'm going to get it customized to what I need. Now, this is going to cost some serious bread, but it's going to be way less than if I was to go to a major manufacturer or even a minor manufacturer and get something custom made, or buy something off the shelf. Strandberg, right? For example, they're imported up to like $3,000. $3,000 imports is my understanding. Now, Jason Fussmonger's in the group. He's a Strandberg head. He can correct me on this. I'm looking for his input. Obviously, I may be incorrect. If you're listening to this show and you're wondering whether I'm correct, you should join the Facebook group because you will find this information. But the whole point is that that's really expensive for an import. I buy a Kiesel, it's made in the States. Now the parts might come overseas, but it's made in the States.
Yeah, it's made right in Southern California.
Right. So that's my point. Now, here's why we're talking about Kiesel in this episode. I'm a member of the Carving Kiesel community, and I was specking out some guitars this week, and I finally just got pissed off because I was looking at, what certain options cost and things, and it became very clear very quickly that their tool for ordering guitars is a fucking disaster. Okay? So here's my post in the Carving Kiesel group. Kiesel's website needs a massive usability tech update. If anyone's ever used the order form, it's totally not clear how finishes and other things work, and there are a ton of options missing. I know a guitar configurator with graphics would be expensive, so I'm fine with just text, but the online order form shouldn't be so counterintuitive. The first person to respond made a joke about it, aimed at me, saying, "Call the guys." That's when I realized, holy shit, what is about to happen? This thread is sitting at 51 comments plus, right? It was 51, and I haven't refreshed this page in a long time. So it's probably sitting at 100-something comments at this point, or maybe even 200 at this point. I mean, I'm still getting notifications today, and I did this yesterday. So here's the gut reaction. Most of what the notifications I'm getting are, yeah, you're right, and people laughing because they know I'm right, and the heart, people are thrilled. I got several people who gave me the angry face, and to my knowledge, they don't work for Kiesel, right? And then I had a lot of people in the comments that were like, no, that's the wrong way to do business. Nobody in the guitar community wants to do that. All right, so this is where I'm going to start getting a little bit angry. And it's kind of my shtick. I know we had somebody review us on iTunes and say that I'm the angry one or whatever. That person has since recanted the review. If you're still listening, thank you so much for listening to more than one episode. I'm a reasonable guy. I appreciate that. But right now, I'm not going to be that reasonable. So, going through the thread, there's a lot of people that were like, this is not the way that they should do business. And here was my response. And it was pretty much verbatim and done multiple times in this thread where I said, look, I'm not asking for a guitar configurator. I don't want to see pictures. I don't want them to see them spend a whole bunch of money. I just want to see them read a book about web usability and understand that a radio button is not the same thing as a checkbox, and that they need to at least update it when they come out with new options. And that ultimately, yes, this is, I understand that Kiesel may not want to use this as a way for people to buy the guitar on their website, but there should be at least a way to estimate how much the cost will be when you call them up without having to call them up and waste their time. Could you imagine? I spent probably 4 hours over the last few days throwing together different guitar combinations just to see what they cost, just to see what kind of finish options they had. And if I called them up and wasted 4 hours of their time, that's ridiculous. That's not the way anybody should be doing business. My whole thing and my rant in this group was, look, they should be offering both. when you order from this company, you do want to have that personalized customer service where you can call somebody up, talk to them, and find out the information you need on the phone. But at the same time, you shouldn't have to either. This is not a small company. There's a perception that Kiesel is like this small builder. Listen, they got like 20 plus employees building 7,000 guitars a year. What the fuck? Your website is garbage. Now, here's the thing that I told you, Jim, last night, and I know I haven't let you talk. I'm going to give you space here in a minute. Look, there is one reason that they have not done this that comes to mind that could be a possibility. It is a theory. It is an untested, untried theory. I don't have any insider information to understand this theory, and this might actually get me in trouble should I ever decide to order a Kiesel saying this. But we all know Kiesel split. They originally were Carvin Guitar or Carvin Audio, and then they split the Carvin Guitars and Carvin Audio, and it was a family thing, and the two brothers separated, and we know that Carvin Audio folded right after, within like a year or two, right? And now they're back. They've got some sort of special financing, which probably means they went to the bank and begged for a loan. And none of this has been made publicly official in terms of their financial outlay because it's a private company. None of this has to be made public, except to the IRS, right? And the IRS protects private business interests. A lot of these things I know because I've been a consultant and I've been around a lot of businesses over the years and seen how this kind of stuff goes, especially private business. Now, I think what happened was when they split, Carvin Guitars assumed a portion of their debt, okay? And that was probably the only amicable way that Carvin Audio would let them split. Do you really think the brother would take the lucrative part of the company, because it's pretty clear that was what was keeping the place afloat, and let them spin off without being aware that they were about to get their ass handed to them debt-wise? No way in hell. So I figure he probably split the debt up. It was probably not 50-50. It was probably, well, Carvin makes this amount of money per year, so they assume this amount of debt, or Carvin Guitars. And so now I think it's 3 or 4 years after that deal's happened. Maybe that debt is starting to wind down, but it's still lingering. And that means they don't have a Plek machine, which is now basically becoming industry standard for custom guitar shops. If you don't have a Plek machine, you know somebody who's got one that's letting you use it, or you have made it part of your design and building expertise that we don't use a Plek machine, which I've seen that before too, which is actually what Kiesel's doing right now. Now, Kiesel's a high-tech shop. Everything they can do is CNC'd, right? That's the only way you can do what they do, is to CNC everything. But they don't have a Plek machine, which is very strange to me, because even G&L, company that prides itself on making the guitars by hand, has a Plek machine and uses it on every single USA G&L that comes out of the shop. Gibson uses a Plek machine. I mean, it's not uncommon now, right? It's a very expensive piece of hardware. It's over $100,000 for a Plek machine, and you have to be trained to use it. So there's a whole bunch of little issues there. But ultimately, my point is, the reason they haven't upgraded their website is because it's last on their list of things to do in terms of finance. And if you don't know what a website costs for a private business, if you want a quality website, you're not going over to a Shopify and building it over on Shopify. That works great for small business. But if you're a legitimate, large business like Kiesel, who makes 7,000 guitars a year, guess what? You're going to have to pay. It's going to cost you $100,000 to get a site. Bare minimum, right? And then if you want that guitar configurator, keep adding, because that's a custom application, and that's not cheap. Actually, I have a cousin who does 3D rendering for furniture companies, and I've heard through family members what his balance sheet looks like, and it's pretty clear that that's something I think is out of the realm of possibility for Kiesel at this point. But that all being said, the real reason I want to bring this up is because we all know Jeff Kiesel. We've seen pictures of him. We've seen him on Instagram. And he's one of the most polarizing figures in guitars right now. And I just can't understand how a company decided that they're going to take a guy that rubs people the wrong way and make him the marketing guy. Now, I know he's family. I know he is the heir to the Kiesel throne. But let's be completely honest. Jeff's not really that well liked by a lot of people unless you own a Kiesel. And that's what I'm getting at. These people that are getting pissed at me in this forum were pissed because it was like, oh, you're trashing Kiesel guitars. I'm not trashing Kiesel guitars. I'm making a suggestion, people. I'd like to buy one.
There is a definite movement in culture right now that if you don't like a thing, then you don't like every.
Kill it.
And there's I'm not sure what it is. Like if you say, you know what? I don't think that Stairway to Heaven is that great a song.
It's extremism.
You don't like Led Zeppelin? What's wrong with you?
No. Sorry. That's not a big enough leap, Jim. No, it's not. You don't like Led Zeppelin. You don't like 70s classic rock.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't like everything about it. What? You know, there's this huge leap that people are taking that just because you don't like something about an item or even like, you know, an individual, then you hate that person or you hate that whole company or even that whole genre of whatever it is. And that's not the case. And the problem is that for some reason we have, especially in the guitar community, I see it a lot, this automatic defensive. I remember when I was first in, I never really joined a guitar Facebook page till 2 years ago. I know, right?
Yeah.
And so,
I think I might have been there for that. I think I might have seen the aftermath of that.
And I said something like, you know, guys, you know, maybe you could spend a little less time talking about stealing guitars from Guitar Center or something. Next thing I know.
Which is funny because now that's been a big thing over in 60 Cycle Hub.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm joking because I know they can take it. And I think it was 60 Cycle Hum. But anyway, I just said a little thing about, you know, oh, wow, this guy spent too much time talking about beer or something. Wow, I got eliminated.
Everybody just jumped your shit like really bad. I remember.
You should throw your iPhone away and burn yourself at the stake because you don't like 60 Cycle. I didn't say I didn't like a show.
He just said he didn't want to hear about beer anymore.
I didn't think it was a good idea to talk about beer. Hey, if it works for you, it works for you. But I just didn't like it. And I didn't think it was entertaining. But that doesn't mean just because you don't entertain me. At last I checked, they didn't call me and say, hey, Jim, you know what? We're doing a show. Can you tell us whether or not this would entertain you? I get that. Jim, get it.
You're the fucking reason all my favorite shows have gotten canceled.
Yeah, that's it.
You son of a bitch.
That's why Family Guy has been canceled 3 times. It was all me. It's just, you know, I wish that Seth MacFarlane would stop calling me. But as a side note, you know, that's the thing. You know, it's like, why are you guys getting Ryan and Steve hadn't said a word, and these people are trashing me like, wow, thanks for inviting me into the group. You guys are such a fucking wonderful,
lovely group of people.
What an asshole. What a bunch of asshole. That's the only thing I can think of. And it's because of that, I don't even post in there. I'm like, I'm not posting. I don't give a shit.
Jim, what you got to understand is a lot of these shows, and I'm not going to go into specifics, but they know who they are. And some of them probably listen to our show. They have a very specific way that they've handled their culture. And honestly, I want to say this in the nicest possible way. These shows are an underground subculture all to themselves. And so the antics and behavior, a lot of the people, and I've heard them even say it before in certain contexts, have said that, you know, they felt like they were the misfit toys of the rest of the gear community. Now, if you think for a second the kinds of behavior that you've run into in groups like 60 Cycle Hum, Gear Slum, and whoever else at this point is any worse than what you run into on the gear page, I will refer to you that previous episode where I talked about that sexist ass thread over on the gear page. Oh my God. The things that I have seen, I cannot unsee.
Well, that's just it. So we started this whole thing with this positivity and, you know, the Stevie T thing and everything else. We try to look for positivity as much as we can with people and with stuff. So we would not put up with someone being negative towards you if you put something in the group and they were slamming you like, you're playing socks or stuff like that. That would be instant. We'd at least delete the stuff and talk. But what I'm saying is that you would think that a group of misfits, as we are, would say, hey, you know what? I don't want to treat people like I got treated. The reason I'm here is I felt a misfit over there. But it seems like there's this, it's like a high school clique. And look, fellas, everybody is too old for that shit. And so you don't need to click. You don't need it. You just hang with like-minded people because they're like-minded, but don't hang with like-minded people because they're all mean. It is a lot harder to lift a person up, even when you've got to try harder to find something positive to say than to slam someone.
You know what I see it as? And I know I know the people in these groups. I'm good friends with many of them. And I gotta say, that is the kind of guilt that's associated with people who have been racist or something at some point in their life and have hurt people because they were different than them. It is the same kind of guilt. And it's not that maybe Jim took it more personally than it should have been taken because he's not a member of that culture community, doesn't understand the communication patterns at that time. But the point is that when that happens, it is literally like antibodies in a person attacking an illness. And everybody clusters in and they all make it ugly and it's totally unnecessary. What you should say is, how do we show this person how we feel instead of attacking them? And do it in a positive way. Say, yeah, we know they talk a lot about beer on the show, but it's just part of the show, and it's just part of their personality coming out.
Right.
Honestly, the parts where they talk about guitars are great. Yeah.
But
instead they say, you need to fucking die. Go jump off a bridge. I hope you hang yourself. Are you fucking kidding me?
Well, go find another podcast then. Wow. Okay. Sorry, I'm not one of you guys. I mean, but that said, all I'm saying is it could have been, hey man, it's just something, you'll get used to it after a while or something like that.
Yeah, it's just a part of the show. And honestly, if I hadn't listened to almost all the shows I listened to, I've listened to from the beginning. I went back and I started at episode 1 and I scrolled through all of them. I don't think so. Our show, for example, if you were, I think our show might be unique in that way. I take it back. Flippin' Flippers is a good example because I don't pick on Flippin' Flippers, and I haven't listened to every episode of Flippin' Flippers. I know I'm behind because I'm still in the first season. But Flippin' Flippers is a show that I felt like if I jumped in at season 2, which I did, I listened to one season 2 episode, and I was like, wait a minute, what happened? The show is a different format now. I don't understand what happened. I feel like you would have a much tougher time with some of these podcasts if you don't listen from the beginning, if you don't start and go back from the beginning. I feel like our podcast, we really haven't changed the format too much. I mean, it's usually just me and you griping and me screaming at shit. Us making some really bad dad jokes and probably offending people.
We even had a dad joke episode.
Yeah, I think we did.
We had a whole episode about dad jokes.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here looking at my gray hair, my gray beard.
Well, to be truthful, I have a child, so I am a dad joke.
I am a meme. I am a walking meme. But I'm aware of that. I mean, I get that I don't understand online culture because of the fact that we, when I grew up, we didn't have that. You picked on people in your face,
Yeah, you picked fights with people. You actually fought one another. If you do that now in school, guess what happens? You get expelled.
You go to.
When I was a kid, we got a slap on the wrist when we punched somebody in the face. Okay, I got an in-school detention, which basically just amounted to me being able to sit in the room and not have to deal with anything for a day. It was freaking awesome. When that happened to me, I was like, man, I should pick more fights. Honestly, that was kind of my answer. I got more done today than I ever have.
When I was little, when I was in school, I say little, when I graduated school, I was 5'5" and 118 pounds. So
that's wrestler height.
Yeah, I was a wrestler. And so I was a wrestler. So I was small and it was easy to pick on me. And I was picked on a lot because I played guitar and I like science fiction. Those were two things that just went great together. So get the shit kicked out of you a lot. And that's what wrestling teaches you. It does not teach you how to fight.
Avoid getting your shit kicked out of you. Unless somebody wants to hold somebody down.
Unless somebody wants to hug a lot. You don't get a lot of wrestling is not good for fighting.
I don't know. I just fought dirty. I just go for the balls and fucking pull hair. And I mean, anything I could do to hurt someone.
I really didn't know how to do that.
The couple of fights I was actually in school, they were pretty much boxing matches. But believe me, I'm ready to throw that switch whenever. I don't care. If I have to inflict pain on you, you're going to get hurt.
Yeah, being short, my arm length didn't really lend itself to boxing either. But anyway, so the point is that we could face those people. You saw them in the face, and you could tell by their eyes and their face.
You had to think about what you said because you knew where it was headed.
Right. And so this trolling, and like you said, it's like a virus. If somebody says something and another person thinks, I can add to that. I'm feeling a little bit like that, whether they want to be funny or
this will make them laugh.
They add, and then another person adds, and another person adds, and it suddenly becomes, like you said, this festering boil of negativity. And it just, I think, breeds a completely different attitude. I don't like to deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, there have been a couple of times where I've had to blow up people because they misconstrued something I did. Granted, what I did was in poor taste, but they misconstrued what I did, and then made out like I was something I was not, and used a very specific word that I do not allow being used, and I just exploded. I thought I was going to get banned from that group, to be honest with you. But it's just one of those things where I've talked to that person since. We've had long conversations and been very cordial and nice to one another. And I would consider that person as somebody I would buy a beer or whatever for, and that's totally water under the bridge. But my point is, if you don't have that interaction where you set those boundaries, which you never have those interactions on the internet,
right?
There are no boundaries. And
there are no boundaries.
Dangerous way.
Stay and do what they want. And, trolling is a sport for some people, and they're very good at it, and they're very mean, and it's brutal. And although I still don't see how people take it to the extent that they commit suicide over it. I can understand.
Right.
I don't.
But if you're immersed in the internet as your primary method of communication,
you really need to get something else going on.
You really need, I mean, but I'm just saying, picture yourself as a young person today, growing up in this society where the internet is your focus. You could definitely see how this is affecting.
You're right.
People. But you look circle back. You have a point?
I was just saying, you look at kids today and they live on their phones. And for a while, phones became this microscopic thing, and they suddenly exploded.
And now they're getting bigger because everybody wants their eyes to be covered with it.
And I can't imagine the eye strain and the ear strain and everything else that's going on. And
I'm guilty of it.
Reality. This is a world that is not real, and it is easy to lose. That's the reason I play Final Fantasy to begin with, because I don't have to worry about the fact that it's another character, and I can dive into a world that isn't real. And I get it. And we play guitar. I've talked about this before. When I start playing guitar on stage, I forget that I'm 50-something years old with relatively bad knees and a little overweight. Well, a lot overweight now.
Yeah, and then you feel it the next day too.
I feel it the next day. Oh, my feet are killing me. My arms, my legs, my knees, everything. But it's just like when I come out of the gym, I go,
"It's good hurt."
It was hurt. Now we got another topic.
We got to circle back. We're still talking about the same topic. We're going to get to that last one. Trust me.
Oh, you're going to circle back to
so this came out of our talk about Jeff Kiesel, right? I bring him up. Right. He's a polarizing figure. I'm not going to weigh on how I feel about him. You can probably guess how I feel about him because I'm bringing him up. I think there's a lot of people who have that groupthink mentality with Jeff Kiesel. And look, I'm totally the guy, even though I edit the show and I try to make sure that we're completely politically correct and we're not offending anyone that we, don't intend to. I want to make this very, believe me, we do intend
But believe me, the people
we do
we
intend to offend some.
offend.
I want to make this in the nicest terms possible. I feel like the people that follow Jeff Kiesel tend to be the people that are more on the I don't care about being politically correct side. When he walks through his booth, and I'm just going to give you this one thing, and then we're going to move on to the next topic. He walks through his booth, he picks up every guitar, and he goes, "Man, this thing looks sexy." What, are you going to have sex with it, Jeff? I mean, come on, dude, really?
I get it. That's fluffery.
He could say other things, though, but he chooses to use a vernacular that is, I would say, antiquated. I don't necessarily think it's offensive. I'm not a woman, so obviously I don't have that kind of attitude about it. But it's a vernacular to me that is mired in kind of like the late 90s, early 90s. Like, we can say this word now because we've had a sexual revolution, and now I feel empowered to say this word, but not think about how it affects other people. You know what I mean? Like, it's not quite evolved yet because he's not putting a gender on it. Be clear, he's not putting a gender on it, but it's almost like to borrow from Jurassic Park. It's like a kid that's found his dad's gun.
I'm going to wait until the end of the episode to say something about sexiness in the music industry because I want.
Oh no, I know where you're going, and I probably am going to agree with you on this. But
let's get on to the next the next thing.
This is a big deal. Everyone who has been listening to the show for a long time, about the Red Unicorn.
Right.
And the Red Unicorn comes from Shengzai Guitars in China. Shengzai went belly up. Well, we thought went belly up several months back. It turns out that Shengzai is back. All right. So I'm a member of the Shengzai group. I am also a member, or I'm on their Facebook page as well. And there's been a lot of communication with an individual, and I let me see if I can pull up his messages so I can get his name right. His name, so he's from the Ukraine. I believe his name is pronounced.
Let's have David butcher his name.
I believe his name is pronounced Evgeny. Evgeny, and I don't have his last name sitting in front of me. I'm digging through my. Oh yeah, here it is. Evgeny Slusko. Okay, and Evgeny had a post when Bad Cat was coming back online saying, "Hey guys, I'm the reason that Bad Cat is going out of business." For lack of a more obvious explanation. And I still need to talk to some other people over there about this. But I had a long conversation with Evgeny. And actually, I was speaking with some other people that were involved in this whole discussion first. And I was like, all right, is this dude the real deal? We've obviously had some discussions with other people over there. There's Chris Taggart, for example, and others who are kind of aware of this thing. And we'll get to that scandal in a minute. There's more than meets the eye to all of this. So his responses to me were very cordial. He actually set up a date to talk to me. And then when he showed up, he basically said, okay, so here's the deal. I'm going to send you pictures of the original Bad Cat guitar, which my understanding was created. Well, the logo and the guitar itself was created in December 2015, and that they did not actually start building guitars until 2016. So, as part of his crusade, he first reached out to them and said, "Hey guys, you ripped off my fucking guitars. I don't like it." And then he went and actually went to various fan pages and excuse me, sorry. And went to various individuals who were promoting their guitars on YouTube and made them aware that, hey, Shengzai is a fraudulent logo. They used to be Bad Cat guitars. So he sent me pictures of a blue Les Paul with a Bigsby, that is, I mean, it's a beautiful looking guitar. It has the Bad Cat logo on it, which actually I think his Bad Cat logo is slightly better in the sense that you can see that the cat has a patch over one eye, which is kind of cool. I haven't stared at mine well enough to see it. His is not as perloid as what Bad Cat uses either. So in the course of this conversation, I said, you've been in litigation for some time. He said, yes. He's like, and there was another lawsuit pending with Bad Cat Amps. That's what shut them down originally and made them change their name to Shengzai. And he's like, I've spoken with the founder of Bad Cat Amps and basically told me that I need to reach out to some other people in the group, which I intend to do so because I want to continue to follow the stories it develops. But he was basically saying that they were not paying people on the internet for over the last couple of months because they're in litigation. Now, I'm trying to, because again, he doesn't speak perfect English. I'm trying to glean from this that he actually had this guitar commission built, probably by Shengzai or Jason Gia, right? The guy that is responsible for Shengzai in a lot of ways. And he had this guitar built, and then they took it and turned it into their model. Now, I don't care if they built his model and then copied it and said, oh, well, you're our designer, because that's allegedly what they're saying now in court, or at least in whatever kangaroo court that China puts up for this sort of thing. They've said, well, he actually was our designer and he was compensated for that, meaning we gave him a guitar, right? The other part of this is that some of the early builds from them have his name on the truss rod cover. In fact, one of the people that has promoted his guitars on YouTube, Jimmy Photon, I will say his name. You can go look and see in some of the guitars he has from them, which he has several, have on the truss rod cover, East Lusco. They clearly stole his designs. I had not seen these. Had I known this, remember, Jim, we talked about this originally, I would not have ordered one of these guitars. My assumption was they had picked up some clip art somewhere and decided that was going to be their logo. And then the clip art name was Bad Cat or something.
Yeah, I still, so I'm going to say this because I got a friend.
It's possible that Evgeny did the same thing.
That's what I was going to say. I got a guy at work who's got a cat on his arm. And I said, what the heck is that? He goes, oh, it's the Cheshire Cat from Alice in Wonderland. And I'm used to the Cheshire Cat, the Disney style with a fat cat. And it's a tall, thin cat like yours. Looks very similar right here on his bicep. I'm like, oh, that's weird. I said, I just wondered because it looks like guitar brand design.
Well, so their logo is slightly different. He sent me some photographs. I hesitate to put them up in the group because I know this is in litigation. I don't want to affect the outcome of that. But this logo does not look identical to the one that's on the Bad Cat guitars, okay, and the Shengzai guitars. And I think part of it's that they chose to use perloid material rather than more of an ivory kind of material for the actual inlay work. But this doesn't look as much like clip art as what's on the guitar right now. And the other thing is he specified the fonts, they're all hand drawn in these pictures he sent me. So like even okay, so here's the logo and how the logo looks, and it is a font, but he's got like Illustrator files of how he laid it out, right? And including the actual arc degrees and angles. And I mean, there's measurements here. Like these are design specs. And these are the kinds of things you would send to a builder to say, I need you to build me a prototype. So this really sounds like a situation where this guy was wanting to go to China to produce some guitars. He was probably already building instruments small time where he was at, or maybe customizing instruments from that manufacturer even. And he goes, all right, I want to do a small run. So he goes to them with this design, and they build him one. And then he says, you know what? I don't have the capital to do this, or maybe I'll do it in a year or something. In the meantime, they're gonna take it off. They're building a bunch of them, and they're selling them everywhere. And so this whole concept just goes crazy. What gets me, and that it is, look, court case is a court case. We know China is a kangaroo court. Anything you build in China, you run the risk of being basically taken out of the equation, right? You have to be careful with that stuff. And everybody who builds in China knows that. They go through these really extensive agreements, and there's all sorts of litigation that happens on the international scale. So being a small-time guy going to China, you need a broker. You need somebody who can argue on your behalf and has some clout over there. Now, here's where my problem is. Evgeny is aware of people like Jimmy Photon, Chris Taggart, and all the other guys, Nick in the States, who have received Bad Cat guitars. And he has gone to these people and sent them messages saying, hey, you probably should tell people that the guitar you're endorsing, by the way, they are endorsing these in some cases. Jimmy Photon is a Shengzhe artist, okay, who's getting free guitars from this company. And he's walking around with Slusko's name on his plate, his truss rod cover. Come on, dude. Like, the guy reaches out to you. I'm sorry, you're a jerk. If you didn't at least say, you know what, it's the only guitars I have. I have to play these until I can get something else. Or, yeah, I'm really sorry. Like, I'll issue a statement on my Facebook page or my YouTube channel or something, just so that we're at least clear that, like, I didn't know about this when this happened. It just boggles my mind that these people are still, and some of these guys are still out there saying Shengzhe guitars are great. I'm glad that Shengzhe's back. Buy a Shengzhe now. Others are like, you know what? I know some people got burned. Maybe it's best to wait and see how the market does. I was involved in a discussion over there that got pretty heated, where I was like, look, I have a good Shengzhe. And my initial impression of the company, my personal impression of the guitar is not a bad one. However, I had my issues, and I walked into it prepared to have issues. If you walk into this thinking you're dealing with, Fender here in the United States at a dealer, you're wrong. You're going to get burned, okay? And now that their doors are open, we don't even know if they've actually shipped any guitars yet. They might just be taking money. And that's the scary part. So Shengzhe, one of the big complaints about the company was that Shengzhe was operating and they had no customer service staff. So all of your communication went through one person who didn't speak English and was not attentive to your needs. Now they apparently have at least one person in the customer service role. But I don't know how effective that is. So until these guitars start showing up, I'm going to say this on our podcast, and I want to make it clear for everybody who listens. Do not buy a Shengzhe guitar. Let someone else take that risk. It just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. And now, because we know this, and I've had this conversation with others who've been booted off of YouTube already for buying counterfeit guitars and then promoting them, please understand, buying counterfeit goods, even if it's kind of quasi-counterfeit like this, because it's not all really clear and set in stone, is illegal. You cannot purchase counterfeit material. I don't care if you're ordering fake Levi's from China. That is illegal. You can go to jail for that. Now, you're going to go. No, I looked it up. You're not going to go to jail. You're going to get fined for one thing. But if you buy enough to distribute, then you're going to prison.
Right. It's just like drugs. You get enough to get, you got an ounce of pot in your hand or your pants before they made it legal in your state. And
it's a crime of intent too.
Yeah, you get a fine, a slap on the wrist if you get anything.
If you don't know it's real, it's not illegal.
But if it's right, but it is illegal to distribute. So if you have like 5 of these things or 10 of these things, or you've sold one on eBay, now
I can't sell mine.
I don't.
It's stuck. It has to hang on my wall in perpetuity. I was planning to do that anyway. But it's one of those things where You know, if you've got one of these Chibsons in your house, you can't sell that. You
Well,
you probably can, but the thing is, you're running a risk, and you need to understand that. So
legally, you're not supposed to.
Yeah. Now you can own it till you're blue in the face. And if somebody asks you, did you know that was a counterfeit guitar when you ordered it? My advice to you is get a lawyer, but because I'm not taking any responsibility for your actions. But I know a lot of people who would just say, you know what? I didn't know when I bought it, even though they did. Because at that point, you know, your legality is out the window. But if you say you knew it was counterfeit, or if you say, oh, well, I bought a replica, guess what? You bought counterfeit material. Replicas count too.
Yep. But that's the thing. So, you know, would you purchase a replica? I don't know. I don't know if I would.
Only if I can get a headstock delete on the name. I mean, there are some guitars I'd love to have a replica of.
Right.
But you're gonna have to put my name on the headstock because I am not the person in question. He knows who he is. He may listen to the show. He's probably listening to the show. I'm gonna be honest with you. He's probably listening because we've had conversations. I've talked about the show. I'm not trying to be a dick to you, dude. But like, listen, you have counterfeit material. You bought and I'm talking about not Shingze, but Gibson and Fender stuff. And you have said this is every bit as good as a Gibson. This is every bit as good as a Fender. First off, not only are you breaking the law, but you're also doing a disservice to everyone else. I can guarantee you, any piece of shit that you bought from China does not match up to something that is actually a legit guitar from here in the States. I don't give a fuck who built it. I really don't, because they cut corners. That's how it works. They are not to the point where they're building that shit to American quality standards. I have one hanging in my room right now that people are saying, and people are still saying, if you get a good one, they're just as good as guitars built in the States. Bullshit. There are construction methods used in that guitar that you will not find on anything but an import. And that's all I'm saying.
You know what I saw today? A Stratocaster with a set neck. They called it a Showmaster, I think.
Yeah. Yep. They made those.
Relatively inexpensive. Made in Korea.
Squire?
Nope. Fender. It's actually got Fender's logo.
I didn't know they actually did a Fender show, because I know they did custom shop Showmasters or something like that. They were like a higher end thing.
Yeah, you can find them on Reverb under $400. The full on thing. I thought that was pretty cool. And I thought, wow, that's something. Was it Showmaster? Yeah, Fender Showmaster.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, they're custom shop ones, but if you find a made in Korea one,
I didn't know they did any made in
$325 made in Korea flame top.
Well, okay.
Seymour Duncan's.
All right, Jim, can I tell you a story?
Yeah, go ahead.
Those are, correct me if I'm wrong, but those are the Photo Flame guitars.
I could be.
I believe the Korean ones are the Photo Flames.
They could be Photo Flame. I got to be honest with you. If you're going to pick a Photo Flame, I probably would have picked a better one. That's me.
Well, that was kind of the complaint, is that the photo figuring on it was pretty shitty.
Was it?
Yeah, it was not.
Honestly, they've got one locally here.
Yeah, dude, because I'm looking and it looks pretty clear to me like all the quilts I'm seeing are pretty much the same.
Exact same thing.
Yeah, I think I might be right. That might be the photo. Correct me if you guys know. Comment on it, because I'd really like to know the answer to that.
Yeah, so there's obviously custom shop ones are a lot more expensive.
Yeah, well, and then Squire did a run, and the Squires have fucking Floyd Roses on them.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it's a licensed Floyd, but I mean, you can always drop in a real one. And I can remember playing a couple of them, and they were pretty cool. Actually, there were some people that were endorsing them, believe it or not. So
yeah, they look really nice.
I think the one that was real popular was the one with the skull on it. Like, come on, dude. Like,
I don't know, because this one I'm looking at, this is a made in Korea one. Definitely the flame is.
Here's a USA with a Floyd.
Nothing like it.
Yeah, so I think it really referred to the body style and probably set in that construction, I imagine.
Yeah.
So
that's pretty cool. I know that's out of the blue, but it just came to me because I was like, when you were talking about some of the ones that look, I would have assumed instantly that was a fake.
Yeah, no,
And then I see it, I went, wow, that's freaking real.
yeah. So Fender has made some strange stuff over the years, and that's just one of the guitars I made. You know what I've always wanted? I've wanted a heavy metal Strat. Do you remember those, Jim?
Yeah.
When they did
I
like
do.
the
Yep.
neon pink like Stratocasters with
Yep.
I believe they had a Kaler or Floyd, and they were pretty cool guitars. And for a while there, you could get them dirt cheap. I think they're probably going up in price. They were like
Probably.
$400 for a USA guitar.
Because the whole shredder mentality is coming back.
Well, yeah, and that's a big part of it. I mean, like even Ibanez is now reissuing like all the extreme color guitars. And I went to that death metal show a while back, and some of the guys are playing like Ibanez's and like bright yellow and like desert yellow and shit. And I'm like, all right, man, it's coming back. Like,
cool.
I love those colors, man. This is the world I want to live in. But
yeah, I love those.
It was funny to see it on a death metal stage for sure. You know,
those bright colors. Yeah, that is a little weird. Wow, a Squire Telecaster Showmaster. So they did Squire too. It's kind of
as I said, they did Squires.
Yeah.
When I was
Squire with that.
When I was first starting guitar, that's what the Showmaster was. I mean, they were almost all Squires, and it was like, oh, okay. They were usually purple. That's what I remember seeing a lot of.
Yeah, this one's really, really blue.
Yeah, it's probably the same thing. It may have been blue. I mean, honestly, it was one of those colors that like was kind of. In fact, I think it was like a prismatic or something.
Yeah,
like they would change the light or whatever. But yeah. So, did you had another topic you wanted to talk about, right?
Yeah. So I kind of wanted to go into these. We were talking about the stuff earlier. I just want to give a shout out. This is closing in towards the end of the year. You guys will hear this. December 13th. So it's coming towards the end of the year. Some of you will be taking a Christmas break or a holiday break, and I don't blame you. You know, some of you will be listening to us in the car. We'll keep the language to a minimum.
Yeah, I'm trying not to use the F word too much.
Yep.
It's difficult. I apologize.
Yeah, if it slipped today, I apologize today. But I will say that we want to try to make it a little family friendlier, so you can listen to it in the car and during holidays. Get a chance to listen to our back episodes. Certainly, that's a great thing. But here's the thing. So I don't want to speak for David, but I'll speak for myself. We're going to be doing a lot more video content.
I'm focused on Instagram, man. Yeah. There's been some people in the group that suggested Instagram. I feel like Instagram has a lot of traction. I still think I'm going to do video content. I just think that Instagram is the best way to attract people to our show right now.
And I don't even know how to do an Instagram. So David's going to have to teach me.
I don't either, Jim. I'm freaking learning as I go, man.
I would like take a picture of food, I suppose, like the old Facebook things. Hey, there's a picture of my dinner.
Yeah, basically. I mean, that's kind of what it is.
I don't know.
The stuff that I get traction on is like, the stuff that I get traction on is the stuff that I'm like, man, I wouldn't want to look at this. Like,
is it video content? Is it?
They have video content on Instagram as well. Yeah, there's videos.
Wasn't it minimal? I thought it was like a maximum of a minute or something.
Yeah, so they have Instagram TV now, and they have Instagram Live as well.
Okay.
So I've used both. But the funny thing is, like I said, the content that takes off on Instagram is the stuff that you least expect. I took a picture of like 4 random pedals that are sitting on my table. They got shared like 50 times or something. I'm like, wait a minute, what? No, it wasn't 50, but I mean, it got shared a lot. And I'm going, what? Why? Like, who wants to look at like? I know, but there's like whole Instagram accounts, just people just posting pedal boards and stuff. But like, that's totally not appealing to me. And I look, if that's your jam, that's your jam, man. But I'm just saying, I wouldn't look at that for like hours on end.
No.
That's mind numbing to me. I want to hear the pedals. I don't want to look at them.
Exactly. So, yeah, I just wanted to get to, I hope everybody has a great, safe holiday. If you're taking a couple of weeks off, and you'll hear us in the beginning of the year, just remember we'll be at once a week. So get your friends. If everybody gets one friend,
we'll double our listeners. We
double our listeners, but we go right back to the same numbers of listeners.
Yeah, it'll be wonderful. Hey, everybody. I'm thankful, Jim, for the first 100 episodes. It's been wonderful. We're considering this officially season 2. So you will hear Jim as I say things like season 2, episode 1. Things like that from now on. And the other thing is that I want to make sure that everybody understands that yes, we're moving to one thing a week, but we will have special episodes occasionally,
Yep.
especially if we do interviews.
Like we did
They're
before.
always kind of treated with special gloves. Try to get them out soon and everything.
Exactly.
Just make sure that you understand. We might publish content in the middle of the week. You might want to check everyone.
Yeah. So I want to give a shout out to all of our guests from the last season.
Yep.
We had, we had Judy
I don't think I
Rodman,
can name them all.
Bowman. We had Steve Stein. We had Thomas Blug. We had the folks from, excuse me. We had the folks from Little Ozzy. We had Jason Fuzzmonger. We had, geez, of crow. This list, Mrs. Smith.
It's a lot more than you expected, wasn't it? Michelangelo Badio.
Michelangelo Badio. It's been
Robert from Robert's Guitar Dungeon.
Robert from Robert's twice. Matter of fact, Robert
3 times.
I want to let you guys know. Yeah, actually, says been on 3 times.
He's our guest host.
Sorry, guest host. So, well, first I guess he was a guest. Then he was here as kind of the second time, guys. If you haven't seen it, we do have that one where he was eating like his dinner.
I don't know what he was eating. It didn't really matter. It was still funny.
He's in a pair of sweatshorts and a sweatshirt. He's eating it and he's talking to us. He thought we were just talking. He's like, "Oh shit, I'm on."
He's like, "Wait, this is being recorded."
That was pretty.
That was my best Robert impression. This is being recorded.
So, anyway, lots of fun things. We have loved doing this stuff. It's been such a wild ride, such a crazy thing. Next year, some of the content that we'll be bringing to you, obviously, we'll be going to, we're not NAMM size yet, but we're going to be doing some shows, namely what do they call the thing in Fort Wayne?
Sweetwater Gear Fest.
I
am counting down the days, my friend.
I'm actually looking. I'm excited. I'm more excited than I would be for NAMM because my understanding is NAMM is just it's kind of like going to Disney World your first time. It's just.
Can we celebrate something for a minute?
Sure.
5 months of Year of No Gear.
5 months of Year of No Gear.
5 months.
It's incredible that I have been able to do that.
Oh, so I have to bring this up. This appeared on Instagram. This is my 50/50. And this was my birthday gift for my wife.
And you ordered it a long time ago.
My birthday was 2 days ago. I actually didn't order it a long time ago. I ordered it.
You couldn't have, but I mean, you've been on a waiting. Well,
I've been telling Ryan when that thing comes in, you better tell me.
Yeah. How much was that?
I can't say it's the Inner Circle price.
No.
But I will say I can tell
what it is to everybody.
But I think it's like $170 normally. Yeah. You want one on Reverb, they go for like $350.
Yeah. So I definitely
best DOD 250 I've ever played. Leon from Pelican Noiseworks. If you're listening, this is your official endorsement from me. This thing is great.
Yeah, we definitely need to get a demo of that up on the channel. Not an official demo from Leon at Pelican Noiseworks.
No, it'll be.
We should really talk to that
official because I don't do official. We don't take money. We don't do endorsement deals. If I like it, I'm going to tell you it's great. Okay, and so that's as close as he's going to get to an endorsement from me.
But yeah, Leon some of the people that we want to thank, obviously, Nick Bongers from.
Yes, I can't wait to get the first set of pickups. And Nick, if you're listening, reach out to me because we can talk.
Yes, because we got to get that going. And I also want to reach out to again one of the other things I want to let you guys know is that I'm in the background working with some other content providers. We want to bring you something different. We have tried to be different from the beginning, and I'm not going to get into any specifics because I don't want anybody stealing my idea. But
I'm glad, Jim, because I was going to stop you and be like, don't make me edit you.
Yeah, we're looking at a new business model. We're going to be looking at some different things to do. So I won't say beyond that, but I will say that I'm hoping it's exciting. It's exciting for us. It's exciting for you because what we want to do is bring you more and improved content that serves you as practical guitarists. That said, I hope you enjoy the changes that will be coming in the near future.
Yeah, we love you fans, and we love you Patreon supporters just as much,
Right.
and slightly more.
It's like, yeah, no, we don't love you slightly more, but we do appreciate you slightly more. That that I will say.
And there's a better chance that you will get your voice heard if you pay Patreon.
We also want to remind you that if you're a Patreon supporter, you can join us when we do these things when we do them now that we're doing them once a week, and we will provide you an invitation that will always be in the group. We use Zoom at ZOOM.
We can make a permanent room for that,
Right.
And I want to do that. But I need to make this clear to everybody. There will be a list of rules that will be adhered to, because one of the things is, you have to make sure you stay muted during the episode.
Right.
If you don't, I have to edit, and it's okay. I mean, if an accident's an accident. We had an accident one time already, and it was fine. Nobody even knows. Nobody knows except for the person that was involved. But I just want to make sure that everybody who joins the Patreon understands that, like, you're not going to be able to talk during the episode. You're just going to be able to, like, watch.
Right. We will have another get together. I'd like to do that after the first of the year. Of people who are listeners and who would like to get into a group and get involved and talk more.
I have an idea for that already.
I think the community involvement, is a huge, huge thing. And I won't go any further than that, but we really, really want to get things going here that we didn't have a couple of things. I didn't have an interface like I have now. I didn't have a lot of the equipment that I have in the beginning of this. I was just using a Blue microphone and a pair of Apple earbuds. Every podcast goes through this. There's a growth period. Now I'm wearing, better headphones.
Yeah, I don't think we're done either, frankly. But
no. And of course, I'm going to go green screen so that some hilarity can go on. But the most important thing I think for everybody is we're going to try to bring you everything that will make it so that when you're listening, when you're watching the Instagram, when you're tuning in, you're not going to know what's coming. And hopefully we slap you upside the head with something that's interesting, that's involved, and certainly something that you will say, wow, these guys are pretty cool, they're pretty funny, pretty interesting, whatever it is you say. Mm-hmm. What a bunch of assholes. Oh, yeah. I said that.
I hate him. I hate him, that the old guy and that younger guy, he is a jerk.
What a terrible bunch of jerks. These guys are just yuck.
Yep. So, with that being said, I've been David.
I've been Jim.
And tonight, we've been the Practical Guitarist for the 100th time.